Do you see all of these things that are scrolling right now? The names, some of them probably look familiar, most of them don't. These are AI models. You can't go anywhere without hearing about AI in supply chain or logistics these days, but I'm going to share with you why buying that new platform might be the most limiting decision you ever make for your business. Let's be real, probably every message that you're getting when you're sitting on the buy side these days is talking about some new platform or tool that's going to make your world infinitely easier and just let AI take care of everything so you can just coast after pressing the easy button. I would hope that most of you out there don't actually buy into that, but unfortunately some of you will. There are a lot of great apps out there, don't get me wrong, and platforms doing really crazy things, but not enough people are asking what's actually behind the curtain and how do these things work. I've shared in my newsletter before that nobody that you're being sold by is actually building these models. It's millions and millions of dollars to train these things. So everybody is actually accessing some external model that was trained by someone else. They're obviously going to do some fine tuning and they handle the routing logic about understanding what's prompted in what way, how and when, and what other tools are called. But at the end of the day, the actual understanding is coming from work that someone else has done. One of the coolest things that's happening right now, and definitely supported by N8N, is showing people how a lot of the frameworks behind these systems work. And my proposition to you is that you are going to be better off as a business if you can understand these frameworks and know how to actually construct and exchange these data elements rather than just outsourcing it and never knowing what really happens. And the reason why is because of this. Do you see all of these things that are scrolling right now? The names, some of them probably look familiar, most of them don't. These are AI models right now, today, that you can access and use and plug into all kinds of different applications or transact information back and forth with to get that generative AI feedback. I think it's pretty safe to say that most people have no idea how many models are out there and how many variants of those models from even the big companies are being put out every day. Let's take a look at some of the bigger guys that you're probably more familiar with. Here is OpenAI. You can see what they have. Next, let's move over to Anthropic. That's Claude. Next, let's bring up Google with its Gemini offers and models. Quite a number there. And these guys actually have been releasing stuff so quickly, they don't even make press releases about it anymore. Here's some from XAI and Elon Musk and the Grok series. And finally, the open architectured llama stuff from Meta, aka Facebook, who've actually been making some of the strongest open source models and some of its newest models that are actually going over 250 gigabytes when you think about the size of the model itself. You can also see the challenge when you're thinking about some of these things and self-hosted instances, because while that's great and you have a lot more control over your own data, the hardware required to run these things at scale is nothing to sneeze at. My point with all of this is that you will actually be in a better position if you are any company, but especially in the supply chain and logistics company, when you start investing in understanding how these frameworks work, how you ingest data, how you move it around, because the thing is, there are so many possibilities and you have to be so specific when you're constructing these models that the more that someone builds this for everyone, the less it's going to be tuned specifically for your business. And you are honestly losing out on huge amounts of capability that you could have to make your business better by going with generic or off-the-shelf products. The other big danger is that even if your provider will do a lot of customization for you, why would you want to be locked into something where you can't choose the back-end models, where you can't change it, where you can't maybe use different ones at different times as one rises to prevalence and falls depending on how these benchmarks are going? By creating your own infrastructure and having these tools in your own back end, you are in control of your own business and you know exactly what to change when and where your performance gaps may come up and why you would want to change from one model to the next very easily. So think about that the next time that you are being sold a product and being told that AI is just going to make it all better for you, because the reality is once you understand the frameworks behind it, you really understand the challenges and the quality requirements when it comes to your data, your prompting, the instructions that you give it, and also the fact that different models behave differently and one can significantly overtake another even with the same input to get different outputs, which is really important to understand and something very, very different from traditional structured types of machine learning and other types of ways that people have been getting a lot of value out of their data in the past, where similar inputs always generated similar outputs. These days you can have the same input going into different models and getting very different results.